Good morning. Welcome to our Thursday devotion and prayer time. My name is Tom Lemler. I'm a staff member of the Deer Run Church of Christ in South Bend, Indiana, as well as the director of Impact Prayer Ministry. We're talking and praying this week about being prepared by the Spirit as we consider what it looks like to be ready for a summer with the sun. Prepared for Jesus to be an integral part of our life, not just throughout the summer, but every day that we live. And as we consider the role of God's Spirit in helping that to happen and making it happen and guiding and directing us, we're considering each weekday morning during our morning devotion and prayer time a different aspect of the Spirit of God. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead that works and lives within us. And today we're going to focus in on a spirit of power. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 says, "For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline." It's an incredible combination of characteristics, of attributes that God gives us by His power, by His Spirit, by His desire. And out of all of that, I imagine it's easy to focus in on the power. We contrast that with the timidity that Paul writes and says, we've not been given that. But sometimes I'm afraid we miss the descriptors. We think of power as might. Many have used this definition in their mind of power, of God's power, of God's Spirit in a way that, would best be described as being a bully. But this spirit of power is done with love, with self-discipline. It's a power under control. The old saying, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, is a warning that we really ought to heed. And when we consider the Spirit of God, it's not that type of absolute power that He gives us, because that power belongs with God. It's a power that releases us to represent Jesus. It's the power given to an ambassador of a country who goes out to another country, to another people group, on behalf of the one who sends him. And in doing so, there's a level of power that comes with the authority delegated. But if it becomes an arrogant power, then likely the one sending will recall them, will reprimand them, will discipline them, will say, that's not speaking on my behalf any longer. And we live with this spirit of power that is designed for us to be ambassadors of Jesus. that represents Him accurately. We do that by God's Spirit. We do that by an understanding of His Word. We do that by walking in fellowship with one another. We do that in love. And when we live life with this kind of power, when we understand that the power is not us, it's in us, we typically recognize that right now I'm staring at a webcam and attached to my computer that's turned on. And it allows for this recording to be made, this broadcast to be done, because of the power that exists within this metal box. Now I can unplug it and sit here at my desk and talk, and it goes nowhere. The box is still there, but I've disconnected the power. I can pull the motherboard out of this metal box, the so to speak spirit within it, plug it in, and it still does me no good. And God's desire is that we stay plugged in to the power of His Word, that we keep attached to the motherboard of His Spirit. Yeah, I'm kind of a computer geek. I studied that a long time ago. And it's in this understanding that God's Spirit empowers us not to lift us up, but so that we would lift up Jesus. And we live life today by the power of God's Spirit. The question we ought to be asking ourselves today and every day that we live is, what am I doing with the power that dwells within me? Am I using it for its intended purpose? Am I ignoring it? Am I embracing it with love, with self-discipline? Would you spend some time today praying with me? Father, thank you that you are a God that loves us. You understand our weaknesses. Not only did you create us, you lived as us, sending your Son Jesus to empty himself of that which he once had, eternal existence with you in heaven, so that for a time he could take on flesh, live and walk amongst us, experience the same things we experience, and yet by your Spirit able to do so without sin. And so there's an understanding of the need for the power that exists by your Spirit. There's also an understanding of the temptation to misuse that power. God, today, as we live by the power of your Spirit, help us to always filter that power through genuine love, through our love for you, through your love for us, through our love for people. Give us the self-discipline to consider others, their needs, their circumstances. That the power of your Spirit would not be a destructive thing used by us, but would be a transforming thing. A transformation in our own life, to help us overcome the fears of being your ambassador, to help us to overcome the timidity of being a spokesman for the living God, to help us overcome the arrogance of an undisciplined life. And God, as we live by the power of your Spirit, not only does it transform us, but may we present it in a way that the Spirit convicts the lives of others so that they're transformed. They're changed. They're made new. They too become your ambassador. And God, whatever people group, whatever person that you've called us to represent you before, may we do it well. Not by our power or our might, but by the Spirit of the living God. And as we do that, may we continually lift up Jesus so that he would draw all people to himself. It's in his name that I pray. Amen. This has been our Thursday devotion and prayer time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do pray that your day is greatly blessed by God so that you can be a blessing to others. Have a great day